Hey everybody, it is Thursday, means it's time for your Thursday Thought. I just want to talk about the market for a moment and kind of talk about how every market is a two-edged sword. Going back over the past 2 years, 2020, 2021, and the first part of 2022, the home prices had been just kind of appreciating like crazy, and everyone was kind of talking like, it's crazy. I mean, 12%, 18% appreciation, this is not sustainable. A lot of buyers are out there saying, I don't want to spend $500,000 on a house that I don't even truly love all that much, which makes sense. I can't fault them for that. But then now we're seeing the prices come down at about the same rate that they were appreciating through 2021, but the homes are less affordable today than they were a year ago, even though the home prices are down roughly 8-9%. And so it's really interesting that back then we actually had the high prices and the affordability because of the low rates, and now we have the prices that are coming down, but are less affordable because interest rates have climbed so high so quickly. So what's the advantage in today's market? Well, to understand the advantage in today's market, you kind of have to understand the appraisal process, which is that appraisers are typically looking at the past 6 months or maybe even 3 months of history in a particular neighborhood with comparable homes to assess the value of the home, among other things. And I don't want to get too complicated in there, but ultimately, when they're looking in the rearview mirror, as the market is decreasing each month, they're seeing the higher price points. And so ultimately, what does that mean? That means appraisals are on our side. That last year, or in the last 2 years, as the market was appreciating and appraisals were looking into the rearview mirror, sometimes it was hard to get value. Sometimes the appraisals came in short, which is why you saw all of the appraisal gaps last year. But as the market's going down, at least for the time being, the appraisals seem to be on our side. And so as a buyer, the advantage to you there is that you can pay, let's just say list price, or maybe even a little above list price, or a little below list price in some cases, and you can ask for a substantial amount of seller concession. That's the real advantage. It is the key to this market right now, and at least for the time being, and that will change eventually. But right now, the advantage of this market is you can get a lot of money in seller concessions. And sellers out there, heads up to you on this. It's like, yeah, homes are still selling for a decent price right now, but a lot of the contracts that I've been seeing, and I've talked to some lenders that they've been seeing, is there's some seller concessions in there. So just be prepared for that when you are receiving your offer, or receiving the offer on your home. So ultimately, that's the key to this market, is the seller concessions. Because what's happening with those seller concessions is, well, a lot of different things, but primarily they are buying the rate down with their lender. So the banks don't care where they make their money as far as the interest. If they can make it on the upfront, they're happy to. And so these buyers, utilizing the seller's money at closing, are basically buying the rate down at closing. A little complicated, but they're giving the bank a chunk of money, and the bank is saying, hey, thanks for paying your interest up front, more or less. We're going to drop your interest rate from, let's say, 6.75 down to 6%, or something along those lines. Now, the real opportunity in this market is for VA buyers. Because there's so many things we can do with those seller concessions inside a VA transaction that aren't necessarily available to other people. So if you're a buyer and you've been kind of thinking about buying a house, maybe you were last year, you were waiting for the prices to come down. Well, the prices are coming down. There's an opportunity right now for I don't know how long to be able to capture seller concessions and potentially buy your rate down. So give me a call, shoot me a message. Happy to talk about the strategery around making all of that work, to see if you can buy your next place or buy a house for you and your family. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Thursday Thought, and we'll see you next week on next week's Thursday Thought. Ciao.